The dawn of August 6, 1945, began like any other morning in Hiroshima. Cicadas hummed, fishermen cast their nets, and children ran to school. No one knew that within hours their city would vanish beneath a new kind of sun, one forged not by nature, but by human hands. World War II had ravaged nations. By mid-1945, Germany had fallen, but Japan refused to surrender. In Washington, President Harry Truman faced an impossible decision. The secret Manhattan Project had produced 2 atomic bombs. Should he use them? His reasoning was cold and desperate. A single terrible shock might end the war and save countless lives that would otherwise be lost in a land invasion. The target was chosen: Hiroshima, a military and industrial hub. At 2:45 a.m. on August 6th, a B-29 bomber named the Enola Gay lifted off from the island of Tinian. In its bomb bay hung Little Boy, a uranium bomb with the force of 15,000 tons of TNT. The 11-man crew flew in silence. At 8:15 a.m. over the heart of Hiroshima, the bombardier said, "Bomb away." Little Boy fell for 43 seconds. Then, 1,900 feet above the city, it exploded. A flash, brighter than 1,000 suns, tore the sky apart. The temperature at the center reached 3,000 degrees Celsius. Buildings crumbled into dust. The shock wave shattered glass 20 kilometers away. Shadows of people were permanently burned onto walls. In an instant, everything within 2 kilometers simply evaporated. Survivors staggered through the ruins, their skin hanging in ribbons. A black, oily, radioactive rain began to fall. By nightfall, 70,000 people were dead. Tens of thousands more would die in the coming weeks from burns and radiation sickness. The once living city was now a wasteland of twisted metal and silence. Back in Washington, Truman announced the attack to a stunned world. But in Tokyo, the military command was unyielding. So, 3 days later, America answered again. The second bomb was called Fat Man. It was even more powerful, using plutonium. The target was Nagasaki. At 11:02 a.m. on August 9th, the world split open again. The explosion was so intense it fused human bodies into the ground. Another 40,000 people died instantly. The cities burned for days. The survivors, known as hibakusha, wandered through a nightmare of ash and fire. Doctors had no medicine for the invisible wounds of radiation. Even J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, was haunted. Quoting ancient scripture, he said, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." On August 15th, Emperor Hirohito's trembling voice came over the radio, announcing Japan's surrender. He told his people they must endure the unendurable. World War II was over, but the peace came at a terrifying price. In the aftermath, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were cities of ghosts. The full horror of the bombings was censored for years, but the survivors lived with it every day. They faced discrimination and the constant fear of long-term health effects. And yet, slowly, they rebuilt. Today, Hiroshima and Nagasaki stand as powerful symbols of peace. The atomic bomb dome in Hiroshima is a stark reminder of what was lost and what must never happen again. Every August, when survivors gather, they remember the flash, the silence, and the loved ones who vanished. They tell their stories not for revenge, but to warn us. In those few seconds of fire, humanity gained the power to destroy itself. 80 years later, that power remains. Thousands of nuclear warheads lie waiting. But the story of Hiroshima is also one of survival, hope, and the fragile mercy that holds our world together. The people of those cities rose from the ashes. They planted cherry trees where buildings once burned.